Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for coming today. My name is Teodor Zhelyazkov. I work at the University of Portsmouth in the UK. And today I will talk to you a little bit about the employment opportunities for students from Cyprus in the UK. We are going to look into part-time jobs, placements, and full-time jobs after graduation as well. And after that, I will give you a little bit of an idea about what the University of Portsmouth offers in terms of accommodation, facilities, scholarships, entry requirements, and so on. So we only have half an hour, so we will start from there. I will probably say a couple of things about myself. I was a student at the University of Portsmouth myself. I did my bachelor's in human resource management, and I did my master's in international relations. So I do know the university pretty well from a student's point of view, not that long ago. And since 2018, I've been working at the university in various capacities. And since 2022, I've been dealing with students from Europe and Cyprus as well. So I do know the university very well from a student and a staff point of view too. So when we talk about employment and studying in the UK in general, the first thing you need to know, if you don't already, is that you will need a student visa to study in the UK. That student visa restricts a lot of what you can do in terms of part-time jobs and work afterwards. But the first type of employment we're looking into is part-time jobs. The student visa will allow you only 20 hours per week maximum during term time. So make sure that you don't go over those 20 hours per week because you're breaching the law, you're breaching the visa regulations, and this might start a procedure of deportation and so on. So nobody wants that. So make sure that you stay within those 20 hours per week restriction. You also need a national insurance number to work in the UK. The national insurance number, or the NIN as it's known, you can apply for that through the government website, which is that one over there, gov.uk. And that's the only place that you can get a national insurance number from. So if there are any other websites or any other people that are trying to give you a national insurance number, be aware that's probably a scam. Only go for the UK government website, and the national insurance number is free of charge. So again, if anyone is asking you to pay anything for that, then they're probably scamming you. The second type of employment in the UK is the placement, or the so-called sandwich year. That normally happens after the second year of university, where you can go and work in 1 year for a company to get some practical experience, to get an understanding of what working in that industry is like, and then you return to the university to finish your final year. The placements are optional, but we do recommend it because students who go on those placements usually get much better grades when they graduate, and they normally get a job much quicker after graduation. So we do recommend that, and the university can support you with securing that placement. The third type of employment is the graduate jobs. The graduate immigration route is what you will be after you finish the university, and that will allow you to stay 2 years in the UK to find a job after your graduation. This is a good thing for students these days because previously that period was only 6 months. So this is definitely helping the students who want to find a job. Once you find that job, you then can switch into the skilled route visa because your employer will become a sponsor for you, and then you can just carry on working given the new conditions of your contract. If you're not able to find a job within those 2 years after graduation, then you're going to have to come back to your home country. Now, in terms of part-time, a lot of our students work part-time during their university to support themselves, to get an additional income, to help them with living costs. The Career Center, which most universities will have, will help you to find that part-time job. We know that this is the first time that you are going to the UK, the first time for some of you to be working at all. So we know it's an important thing, and you will need support for that. So a lot of the universities, a lot of the students at university are normally working in bars, cafes, shops, restaurants, hotels, those type of jobs. And the employers are used to having students working for them. So they will never give you shifts that clash with your timetable. You can go and tell them, this is my timetable, this is where my studies are, give me shifts outside of those hours. The majority of the students are working in the evenings, in the afternoon, during the weekend, and that way they can help and support themselves. Now, the soft skills and the commercial awareness that you build doing those part-time jobs are valued in the placement in the full-time jobs afterwards. So part-time jobs is something not only that can help you with costs and income, but also with starting to build those career skills and soft skills that you will need later on in your life. We already talked about the fact that students can only work 20 hours per week as a maximum, and also the current minimum hourly rate for 18 to 20-year-olds is £10 per hour. If you find a job that pays more, great, but it should not be less than that. And then also if you're 21 and over, it will be 11.44 per hour as well. So you can calculate how much you could earn if you're working 20 hours per week. I've listed here some of the soft skills that students can develop during those part-time jobs early in their career. It's communication skills, time management and multitasking, teamwork, collaboration, problem-solving skills, customer service, initiative and leadership, work ethic and professionalism, cultural awareness and adaptability, resilience and proactiveness. So I'm just putting these skills out there for you to start thinking about them, to start thinking about how you can develop them, how you can demonstrate them later on when it comes to placements and full-time jobs as well. But the part-time stage where you are still a student, you're working in a bar or a cafe is a good place to start thinking and demonstrating those type of skills very early on. And that is what employers are normally looking for when you're thinking about full-time job employment. And also these skills will help you in life in general, because you can use them in your daily life, in any issues that happen outside of university or outside of work. Now, in terms of the placement, or the so-called sandwich year, the placement year takes place after the second year of your degree, normally, and then you return to the university for the final year. At the University of Portsmouth, we also offer something called connected degree, which is where you can do your placement after your third year of university. Some students who really want to go on a placement but haven't had the opportunity to go after the second year, we still support them and help them to do that after the end of the final year. So if that is something that you still want to do during your university studies, you can, and then after the placement you graduate, and then you can go into full-time employment. There are placement offices in each faculty, so the faculty has a staff that will help you to find those placements, that will help you to gather that very valuable experience. And we do encourage students to engage with the placement officers who can help them with securing that placement. As we already said, students gain real-life industry experience, connections, and a salary as long as the placement is within the UK. If you go outside of the UK, there's no guarantee because it depends on the country, depends on the company. But in the UK, most of the placements are paid for. The normal recruitment procedure for those placements is a combination of interviews, CV applications, and assessment centers, which is something that might be new to a lot of you. The students are rarely successful from the first time. This is something that you need to accept really early on. A lot of the students have issues with getting a job in the first time, but the most important thing with the placement is to not get disappointed, to not stop, but to persevere, because from the 5th or 6th or even 10th time sometimes placement is possible. But this is a reality that you should be aware of. It very rarely happens from the first time. And of course, having done a placement gives you a huge competitive advantage at the job market after you graduate. So that's why we do recommend it to our students. Working after graduation, which is the ultimate goal. If you are thinking about obviously getting a job after you graduate, there will be CV application and interviews that you're going to have to go through. And as every university, the University of Portsmouth does have a career center that helps the students with that. You can practice interviews with them, you can practice building your CVs with them, and you can use all of their services and facilities for 5 years after you graduate for free at the University of Portsmouth. We really stay with you right until the moment where you're happy with the job that you have. And also, of course, we do recruitment and placement fairs where we would invite companies to come on campus, to talk to you, to meet you, and to get those connections going, and possibly meet your future employer on campus. That's why we try to bring the students and the industry and the companies together at the university. So I'll also say a couple of things about Portsmouth itself. We are on the south coast of England by the sea, so it's a lovely sea location. It's about 90 minutes by the train from London and most of the airports. We have about 31,000 students in total, and 6,000 of them are international and European students from more than 150 countries. So it is an environment that has a lot of international students, a lot of multicultural, a multicultural campus that we have at the university. So this allows for students to meet people from all over the world. And that is something that when I was a student at Portsmouth, I really enjoyed, the fact that I could meet people from all over the world in this small place. And Portsmouth has good transport links to the rest of the UK and Europe. So it will be very easy for you to go to London, to the airports, to even further up north to Manchester, to Oxford, Cambridge, and so on. And some of our students even like getting the ferry to go down to France, have a cup of coffee, then come back. So that is also something that you can do if you like to do that sort of things. Now, a lot of universities are talking about successes, rankings, statistics. For me, and which ties in very nicely with the topic of our presentation, the most important ranking for our university for me is the one in the middle, in the bottom second row. 94% of our students are working within 6 months of graduation, which means the university is very good at preparing students for employment, building those soft skills that we talked about earlier on, through the part-time jobs, through the placements, and through the practical aspect of our studying, which is also what we are committed to. So the reason for that high statistic is the practical learning. All our courses focus on practice, on applying the theory in real life and as simulated environments as possible. We have the facilities that help the students realize those ideas and to be able to put the theory into practice. We're looking into the industry standard software, so all the materials and the facilities that you'll be using at the university are up to standard and are the most modern ones, and also the career center that I already talked about. So those four things combined together create a really powerful preparation program for the students in terms of looking for employment later on. And that's what we are really committed to. Now, in terms of Portsmouth itself, this is a map of the city. So as you can see, it's surrounded by the sea. It has about 200,000 population, so it's not a big megapolis, not like London or Manchester. At the same time, it's not a small town. So it's quite a decent sized place where students can go around and do pretty much anything they want. The accommodation, the campus, and the city center are all within this square here. And from one end to the other is about 10-15 minutes walking distance, so it's a very compact area. And the accommodation is within 10-minute walk. Most of the part-time jobs that we spoke about earlier are within 10-15 minutes walk, so within that radius again. The beach is also within a 15-minute walk as well. But most importantly, for students who live outside of our accommodation, and we will talk about that in a second, in South Sea area, there's a free bus which is run by the students that covers that area entirely. So in terms of transportation costs, again, very, very affordable. During my time as a student, I've never had to pay any money for transport. And if you've ever been to the UK, you would know that transport is one of the most expensive things in the whole country. So having that cost as zero is a huge advantage as a student in Portsmouth. These are most of the popular courses that we offer. I will probably single out psychology, law, criminology, economics, accounting, finance, and business and management, engineering, pharmacy. These are some of our top courses, but we have more than 400 programs, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level, and these would be the most of the popular areas that we can offer. In terms of experiences, so obviously you'll be studying there for 3 years or 4 years if you decide to go for a placement. So make the most of it. We want to offer that chance to the students to do the placement after the end of the second year. We also offer the students an opportunity to do a 4th-year placement after their 3rd year if they do a connected degree. We also offer the chance to students to go and study or work abroad if they want, for 1 term or for 1 year. We have plenty of partners across Europe and other continents as well. So students who want to go and work or study abroad have that opportunity with us. And also learning a language for free. We currently offer Spanish, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Mandarin, and Arabic. You can do any of those languages as an addition to any course that you're doing, and you don't need to have any previous knowledge. You can start from the beginning with any of them. So that's another thing the students really like doing at Portsmouth, and we do recommend as well. Now, the most important question, how much does it cost? We are very fortunate, and also we've been very strategic about it since 2020. As soon as Brexit took place, we introduced the so-called EU scholarship, which means that students from the EU, from EEA, and from Switzerland get home fees, essentially. So the price would be £9,500 per year, which is the same as what the UK students are paying. That scholarship is automatic. All you need to do to get it is to have a passport from one of those countries. And you need to have lived in the EU, the EEA, or Switzerland for 3 years. That scholarship has been crucial to allow us to maintain a very high number of European students on our campuses. And 2024 was the year where we've had the most students from Europe joining us since 2020. So it's clearly working, it's clearly giving results and benefits, and it's a really good opportunity for any European students who want to come and study in the UK to be able to afford that. Going back to the placement, if you're doing a bachelor degree and you want to go on a placement after your second year, that 1 year that you spent working, you only pay 10% of the fee for 1 year. You don't pay the full price because you're not studying at a university, you're working at a company. And if you're doing a master's course, the scholarship is available. Most of the master's degree normally are about £17,000, £18,000. But with that scholarship, the master courses depend between £9,000 and £12,000 for the whole year. And the great thing about them, which I think I've put there, no I haven't, is that those fees you can pay in parts, in installments. You don't have to pay everything in one go. The way it works is once you apply, you send us your documents, the university approves your documents, and you're definitely certain this is the place for you, then there will be a £3,500 deposit that you have to pay. This is quite standard for all UK universities. And once you pay that deposit, then your place at the university is secured. After that, we will give you a CAS letter, and then with that CAS letter, you apply for your visa. Once you receive your visa, you can come to the UK as a student. It's very important for you to wait for your visa to be granted. Don't travel before that, because you're going to have to come back and apply again. And that visa fee is not refundable. So make sure you go to the UK after your visa is approved. And after you come and register in September, you have to pay you have to pay up to 50% of your fee for the first year. And the second 50%, you can pay in 6 different installments. So there is flexibility in terms of the paying of the fees. The same thing applies for the master students as well. One point to mention here, the scholarship is confirmed for September 25 intake. So if you're starting this September, you will be able to receive it. We are waiting for the next month to see if the scholarship will extend beyond 2025. My prediction is about 90% that will be a yes, it will be a positive answer, because it has been working for us really well, but we cannot confirm that before we have the final announcement from the University Board of Executives. Once they do, we will let everyone know. We do also have a Greek and Cypriot society at the university. Obviously, the scholarship has been very successful for us, which has resulted in a lot of students from Europe, mainly from Greece and Cyprus, to come and study with us. They love the environment, they love the city, they love the place, but there's also a lot of history behind this, because Portsmouth, since 2012, has been very popular with students from these two countries, and the traditions are there. A lot of those people who have studied in Portsmouth have stayed there. So to see that picking up again after Brexit is really encouraging. They do have an Instagram page, so if you want to go and check them out and follow them, you can. But you can also ask them about Portsmouth. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What's the good and the bad? They will be able to tell you that. And they also offer a good opportunity for new students to have someone to talk to and to help them settle in as they join us. A little bit about accommodation. The place in your halls of residence in your first year is guaranteed as long as you meet the deadlines that we have for you, which is normally meet all the conditions of your offer by the beginning of July. All the accommodation buildings, so probably 80% of them are brand new. We've been building them over the last 5-6 years. That's why they are a lot more modern, and they vary between 118 and 208 pounds per week. And normally that fee would include all the bills: water, Wi-Fi, heating, and electricity, and everything else. You can see all of them on the website. They will tell you exactly what they include. And it's a good thing to point out that every room is single, so the students never share a room with anyone else. And every room has its own bathroom, so you always have your own bathroom. Apart from the cheapest accommodation. The cheapest accommodation has 3 students sharing the same bathroom. I would avoid that. But all the others, every room has its own bathroom and is a single room. The expectation is after the first year, students would move out of the university provided accommodation, and they will find a private accommodation with a few of their friends. Normally that's a house that is for 3 or 4 students living together, again in separate rooms, but you're dealing directly with the landlord. And one piece of advice here: if you're looking for the advertisements for the private properties, always make sure you ask the landlords what is included in the rent and what is not. Because quite often you see one price which doesn't include the bills, and when you put the bills on top, it becomes something else. So make sure before you sign any contracts with private landlords to check exactly what is included in the fee they have advertised. And finally, in terms of the entry requirements, there's a little mistake here because the Apollitarian is a minimum of 17.5, not 17. You also need an English language certificate, the IELTS, which is 6.0 overall and 5.5 in each component. Or if you're doing Cambridge Advanced, it will be 169 overall with 162 in each component, which is equivalent to B2. Because it's Cyprus, we do accept the English language grade from your Apollitarian. So if you're having a 16 or above in the Apollitarian, we can accept that instead of an IELTS or Cambridge Advanced certificate. Apart from that, you also need a motivational letter where you talk about why you want to study in that particular course, in that university, and how you see your degree helping you in your career further on. You need a reference letter from one of your teachers, and also after all of this is sent to the university, after we have approved it, and after you are definitely certain this is the place for you, then you can pay the £3,500 deposit, which then means your place at the university is secure. So this is pretty much it, all I had to share in terms of the presentation. This is my email, so if you have any questions later on, feel free to take a photo of that. Send me an inquiry or anything else that you want to talk. If you want to speak to one of our academics, we can also organize that for you online. And if you want to come and visit us on an open day, or if that doesn't work out for you, you can also come and do a private visit, which we can organize for you. That would include a campus tour and a meeting with one of the academics of your chosen course. So thank you very much for listening. I hope this was useful and it gave you a good understanding of what employment opportunities you have in the UK as a student, part-time, placement, and full-time, and also a little bit of an introduction about what the University of Portsmouth means.